Hello and welcome to the program. My name is Marie Yambo. We are glad you could make the time for us. Our social media handles at Marie Yambo, at KBC Channel 1 on X and KBC Channel 1 TV on Facebook. Coming up in this program, the silent killer. Children in Wajir grapple with malnutrition. Interventions offering lifeline to vulnerable communities. And as always, we share health tips on how to improve your health on good practice. First things first, the climate crisis is a nutritional crisis. The UNICEF Children's Climate Risk Index reveals that 1 billion children are at extremely high risk of the impacts of climate change, from waterborne diseases outbreaks during floods and also malnutrition during prolonged drought. Our destination is Wajir County, where I met Camilla Aden, a mother of 6 whose son's health was worsened due to malnutrition. Let's take a listen. Tucked in northeastern Kenya, Wajir County is one of the 3 counties in the region. Here, the impact of the changing weather pattern is grim, from flooding to prolonged droughts, leaving families destitute as their livestock are swept away by the angry waters or reduced to bones due to acute drought and famine.
The volume or the amount of rainfall that we are supposed to receive in a span of 3 months, generally we receive it in 1 day. When we have droughts, we also have resource-based conflicts. When we have droughts, we also have disease outbreaks.
One such family is that of Camilla Aden. She lost all her goats in 2022 owing to drought. This left her family vulnerable and without a source of livelihood or food.
Hakukuwa na chakula, hakuwa na nothing, hakuna kitu ya kumpigia mtoto, mtoto analia. Mbuzi leo moja asubuhi ukitoa yote kwa nyumba, ikienda nje 2 3 inalala nje imekufa, unarudisha 2 zote zikaisha.
Her son was also treated for Kalaza, a parasitic disease that can be fatal if untreated.
Akapata hiyo dawa, nikamaliza. Kukuja tena ile mtoto hakuli vizuri, lakini kulingana na venye alikuwa hayuko hivyo.
This would see the family join the list of vulnerable groups assisted through the cash transfer programs from organizations like Save the Children.
We also help vulnerable community members in the areas that we work, whereby we register them under what we call the cash transfer, where we give them a monthly cash transfer of 9,000 Kenyan shillings to take care of their basic needs within the house.
A few years ago, these women were a dejected lot. The drought situation had devastated their lives, leaving their children hungry and malnourished. But today, with the help of partners, they are able to support their families. Camilla's family has benefited from several of such programs.
Hiyo wakati mimi mtoto yangu alikuwa mwaka moja, alikuwa very weak kwa sababu ya njaa. Sasa hiyo wakati walinianzia hiyo pesa, mimi hiyo wakati nilikuwa na stress, nimetoka town, sina kazi, nilikuwa naishi kwa nyumba ya bwana, bwana amenitoa kwa ile nyumba, nikakuja nikaishi hapa. Stress yangu ni mingi, watoto ndo hawa, ng'ombe imeisha, ukame iko mingi. Sasa venye hiyo pesa ya save ilikuja hiyo 5,000, nilipoteza na stress.
Perhaps alive to the reality that receiving the funds may not be sustainable, she opted to think outside the box. The last tranche she received under the program was 13,000 shillings, funds she opted to pump into business. She partnered with a friend whose story is not different from hers, and together they saved and raised 60,000 shillings, which they used as capital to buy this cow and embark on dairy farming. This will not only guarantee them a constant source of income, but will also provide milk to feed their children who are at risk of malnutrition.
Na sanduku yenye nimesave na hiyo pesa ilikuwa hapa mimi na huyo mama. Tukipata tu pesa ikiingia save tup, tunatoa kwa M-Pesa hivi tup, tunaweka kifuli hapo hapo. Hiyo pesa ndo nimenunua na hiyo ng'ombe. Sasa hiyo ng'ombe tukikamua nawekea watoto kwa chai, kama sina kitu kingine nipate ugali nusu na koroga wanakula nayo.
In a month, the 2 women received 9,000 shillings from their joint venture from milk sales.
3,500 immediately naenda naye town. Nachukua na sukari kilo 4, unga kilo 2, mchele hivi, Sasa hiyo 1000 nanunua na viazi, nyanya, hiyo suku nyama hivi ndogo nusu vizuri, supu yake. Hiyo 500 ndo sasa nanunua na sukuma, spinach, suku yenye napika ugali, hiyo sukuma kidogo, spinach kidogo. Asubuhi nikipika kitu kama unga naweka mayai moja. Hiyo pesa paka wa leo hiyo 4500 niko kukula leo hii.
The women here have also formed a group to save money. And as part of value addition, they also make and sell yogurt to increase their profit margins.
Mimi mtoto wangu nampea hiyo yogurt, sasa yeye anakunywa hiyo yogurt. Maisha yenye alikuwa na sasa iko tofauti. Mtoto wangu mbeleni hakuwa anafanana na miaka yake. Nikisema mtoto ni miaka 3 na hakuna mmoja ananikubali. Mtoto very weak hivi. Daktari ananiambia mama mtoto wako very weak. Lakini sasa mtoto wangu anafanana na miaka yake.
Further north in Bosicha village, Barei Ahmed's family has not been spared either by the vagaries of nature.
Our camels, goats and cows died. We only have a few animals remaining.
Today, she attends an outreach program that creates awareness on nutrition. She is among those who received food supplements for her children.
That time their health was bad. We only had powdered milk which was affecting the child because she was weak. Even adults are having stomach problems because of drinking salty water.
They say that necessity is the mother of invention. Now, on Word on the Street, we talked to some residents from Wajir, and all we wanted to know is, how has the climate change impacted on their lives? Let's take a look.
In Wajir town, it has no much effects. The drought has no much effect, but it has affected in the rural areas. There was loss of livestock, leading to zero source of income, and then that means that some families cannot get the 3 meals in a day, and that might lead to malnutrition in children, pregnant mothers, and also lactating mothers.
We talk of climate change, we are talking of both the 2 extreme climatic shocks, for both the extreme droughts and of course the rains and the unusual rains, those are the floods. And if you look at it in terms of the drought, whenever the extreme weather changes to drought, these cyclonic droughts leads to food insecurity. Whenever food insecurity sets in, you expect the rate of malnutrition or malnutrition upsurge. And once malnutrition increases with low or with inadequate interventions, you expect the death toll to increase. But as opposed to when we have some average rains with some good harvests, at that time you can just try to manage the food security. But with extreme weather, with no crops, with animals going low, with destocking, you'll have terrible food shortage, and then that will lead to malnutrition, and the malnutrition will lead to deaths, especially for the under 5s in children and the lactating mothers, of course. When it comes to the other part, which is now the floods and the extreme rains and those things, will have its own challenges, leading to environmental degradation. Even the farmers, in spite of welcoming the rains, again loses a lot of crops, and these things, they cannot even tilt their farms and all those things. And still, it will have, again, caused the malnutrition in a way. The other impact it will have, whenever it rains much, you'll have a lot of water-based diseases, or water wash, whatever you call. The disease outbreak will be high, especially new strains will come up as a result of the new environment. So that's why we have recently even some new strains of malaria, new strains of mosquito causing problems in this part of these other regions. So I think you expect a lot of problems when it comes to climate change in health.
On that note, let's take a break, but I'll be back with much more, including some of the interventions being put in place to deal with malnutrition in Wajir County. Welcome back. We now take a look at some of the interventions being put in place to deal with issues of malnutrition in Wajir County. So thank you again, Musa, for agreeing to be in the program. And this time round, we talk about issues of impact of climate change on the children's health. So first and foremost, I think probably we could start